Hi, good morning and thanks for joining us on our program today. Daybreak Africa on television Nigeria. I'm Keisha Onia. Well, this is one program where we talk about a lot of stories, trending stories all around the world, beginning with Nigeria, Africa, and the rest. And today we have a very special segment here to look at what Nigeria is fast becoming. And the narratives are not changing, rather it seems to be sliding into worse situations where it looks as if even the government is losing control over what is meant to be their responsibility. Well, we'll definitely look at a lot of stories today and try as much as possible to keep it, better and pass the right message and let Nigerians understand that, okay, our responsibility is to ensure that we get the best we can within and outside this country. Okay, so don't always be quick to let go of this segment, most especially this very segment where we give you a lot of stories regarding your country, Nigeria. All right, we have Lizzie right here, a beautiful lady joining us again, my colleague, and amazing people right here. Beauty is also here. So we'll be dealing with a lot of stories before we get to meet our guest for today. Thank you so very much. Good morning, Lizzie.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Elizabeth. I'm sending you welcome to another exciting episode of Daybreak Africa on television Nigeria. Good morning, Keisha.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm okay, very well.
Right.
So how's Abuja?
Is Abuja?
Yeah, how's Abuja treating you?
Well, Abuja is the same as it's been. Okay. Nothing is new, actually. Oh, yeah, something is new.
The weather?
No, not the weather.
Okay.
The fuel queues are back. I was about to get fuel this morning on my way, but I discovered that there's so much queue out there. I don't know what's happening. It's like they disappear suddenly and they reappear.
Don't you think they're trying to introduce a new normal into Nigeria, adding more stress to Nigerian citizens?
It's been stressful. I wouldn't consider it new anymore because it's for a while now.
So it's going to be a new normal?
It is already as far as I'm concerned, right?
And the best one, I'll be quick and fast enough to ask, from all indication, what should we score this country, this very administration, Buhari administration, APC administration? So
okay,
should we say they've tried?
What would you score
Because
them?
this is like a injury time of the game for APC, this administration.
Yeah.
I don't know where to score. I don't know where to start from if I want to score.
You ask the question, so you go ahead and do the scoring first. Do the first scoring.
Well, maybe Beauty should say something about that anyway.
Okay, Beauty.
Beauty, good morning.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Beauty. You're welcome to the program.
So,
Hi, Keisha.
hi, Beauty.
Talking about scoring the government, the present government, I don't know what to say about that.
No, it's not the present government, the present administration, because they are not the government.
Okay, the present administration.
Right.
Okay, Keisha.
So you can score them, right?
Right. So what would you score them?
Maybe I'll have to do a take-home assignment on that.
Aha. You heard.
Okay, the queues are back, and it's so disturbing right now.
It is.
You know one funny thing that I have seen over a period of time in Nigeria, when it's hard on Nigerians, they don't vent it on the leaders, they vent it on themselves.
Yeah.
Now you go this morning to the
For
queue,
the anger and frustration.
on themselves, among themselves rather. Now, if you go to the filling station this morning, you'll see some of these guys who collect 500, 1,000 naira from vehicles to allow vehicles to go through the other way in to get the fuel.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the money to pay, now you're thinking, how much are you going to buy the fuel? Maybe you have 3,000 naira to buy the fuel.
Yes.
You're going to give out 500 naira to someone to enable you get the fuel. Then guess what? Right from the city, probably you're going towards Lugbe, right from the city gate going towards Lugbe to down Tata Bridge and beyond, you see all these black marketers lined up
everywhere.
right from that point.
They're actually everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Having the best times in their line of business, actually.
And it's not good. It's not a good deal.
It's not, but
It's not a good
that's what.
But can one say that they are
facing right
responsible, but not responsible? Maybe they are a contributory factor to the case.
No, I don't think so.
Everyone is responsible, not only those guys.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And I don't know if the control room will have. Oh, we made a promise the other day that we'll bring up the lady who was locked up for 1 year by the husband. I don't know if the pictures, the graphics will be available, because we try as much as possible to find out if they will be able to give it to us before we get to hear or introduce our guest this morning, because it's still inhumanity. You still hear about, a lot of women beaten up by their partner, spouse, and you also get to see, and women are not really smiling. We have a lot of women who are trying to take revenge.
Yeah, there are a lot of women. That's why you hear deaths, spouse deaths on the increase these days. Yeah, because most times, like these days, they like to, no woman wants to keep quiet, and
that's right,
and allow them to have to herself to be beaten to death. But of course, domestic violence is on the increase, and there's been a lot of awareness that once you face it, you don't just shut your mouth and keep quiet and die there.
That's right.
See that you move really. But how many women can fight men? I think the best thing is, once it's happening, you just take a walk rather than.
But I think we need to get it right. We need to get a lot of things right before a man or a woman comes together to be like husband and wife. There are a lot of things we need to really find out about each other. About each other, because
that's supposed to be the timing, the time of courtship.
Yeah.
That's the period.
Because
when
when you see your husband, maybe your husband to be slapping and talking to people
anyhow,
definitely you wait for your season.
Yeah.
But some women don't really care about that because of the desperate spirit in them.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate because it's going to land them where they never bargained for, those kind of stuff like that.
Exactly.
All right, maybe the graphics are not available yet, so we move over. Thank you so much for joining us on our program today, Daybreak Africa, broadcasting beyond boundaries, and we'll be looking at a lot of stories, strange stories, and having a very wonderful personality right here on set with us. I'm talking about Nat O'Dowd. I hope I pronounced that name well anyway. He is a public speaker and a patriotic Nigerian. He has so much. I have so much to talk about him, but he would definitely introduce himself and let you understand through the way he's going to be addressing some of the subject matters that will be raised here this morning. So it's good to have you here, Mr. Nat.
My pleasure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
My name is Nat O'Dowd, and you did very well.
Oh, okay.
I think you're talking about Scottish, you scare yourself well.
Oh, right.
Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you so much.
How did you get here? We are talking about the fuel issue in Nigeria.
Yes, I drove in here.
All right.
I think I am one of the most lucky people living in Abuja who still have a little pint of fuel in their tanks. Now, like we were saying, you were talking about becoming a new normal. Now, Abuja has lived with a fuel crisis for over months now. It has refused to go away.
Right.
I think one of the recent ones was the fact one that was blamed on the flood in Kogi State.
Right.
I mean, that was the excuse that was given, as if that
Very
we
convenient
have a depot
excuse.
in Niger State close to us here, as if some of these other states around us do not have fuel. They do, you understand? So now you all bear us witness that there is no longer flood anywhere in Kogi State right now, and then the queues have refused to go away. I mean, I was out of town for some time, so I didn't even experience the break that you spoke about. So I left the queue, I came back to meet the queue. And if I exhaust my fuel now, I'm not sure, you understand, where and how I'm going to get that again. So I think the government is not doing enough, or there is some level of insincerity with that situation, as Nigerians are not being told the complete truth or giving the right picture, so we can actually prepare ourselves for a long haul of queues, because see, the Christmas is also coming, and people are going to be traveling, you understand, and there's going to be a lot of tension, not trying to fill your tank. I mean, if you live in my kind of area, these days in the evenings, you do not have power supply. So you have to run the generator. And because there is an official embargo of the filling station giving fuel to those of us who legitimately will want to buy them in jerrycans. I mean, I say legitimately. Buy them in jerrycans for legitimate use. We don't have access. But see, there are no fuel in the filling stations, but there are fuel on the street in jerry cans. And who is giving to them? The same filling stations that will not give it to you legitimately will give it to those one who make a hell of profit out of it. I mean, I stood in a queue for some time, some time ago, and I saw a particular person running and out of the filling station. I mean, sometimes with keke, sometimes with bike, and many times they buy. They drain it and make over 150% profit in your presence. They come back and buy before you again. Now, but the government seems to have turned a blind eye on this situation. I think that the government needs to do better. We also need to stay on the watch and hold them to account on all that we are going through.
All right, thank you so very much on that one. Listen, you know what Mr. Nat is saying. I actually witnessed something like that a few days back, where a particular vehicle, a Golf, loaded with a lot of these jerry can, big ones like 25 liters and 50 liters. There were no seats in the vehicle. There were no seats. All you could see was just jerry can, and they drove into the filling station, filled up. And while waiting, we saw another vehicle, the same again. They were like a convoy, 3 of them.
In the daytime? In
the daytime. Wow. And then there were a lot of, you could see queues like from here back to the junction. They were not attended to, but these other guys, they just had their way. Within a few minutes, they are out of the station. And another one gets into the field. I don't know what is really happening, because we have, should we say, policies or leaders that are dragging us back again and again and again. I don't know.
I don't even know what the authorities are doing about that.
The authorities should have their own responsibilities that are not even looking at, because
sometimes they used to go monitoring filling stations to ensure that when they have fuel, they sell for motorists rather than.
I think Mr. Nat should comment on that. We used to have a DPR, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they always have.
I think these days it is much more of the DSS. You understand? And going around, and you will hear the staff saying, they feel come now. You understand? You hear things like that. They feel come now. Okay, hide this. You understand? So now, but at the end, this is our system. There's always a lot of collaboration going on. See, that officer that is given the responsibility of monitoring will obviously also not have fuel in his car.
That's right.
Maybe at home. And like you said earlier, when we have such situations, we turn against ourselves. So the officer who is also possibly an angry Nigerian also will turn on us and try to make the worst use of that situation. When I say the worst use, that he may intend to make money from the filling station that may be in not obeying the rules. Do you understand? And so they look at for an opportunity for another level of corruption. So maybe the manager knows somebody, you understand, who is also in league with them in whatever they are doing. So there's conspiracy. There's conspiracy. Right. And the best we can do as citizens is to speak up all the time.
All right.
Do you understand? When the time you have the opportunity, speak up. I mean, the last time I had such issue at a particular filling station, in fact, while on the queue, a colleague of mine who is also a journalist was behind me. It was when he saw me, he said, Nat. He said, yeah, you are here too. I can't be here and allow this happen. You understand? I say, Oga, yes, gentleman. All of us have that gentleman part of us. But when we see wrong,
you have to speak up.
Yes, speak up. Let's not keep quiet. And as journalists, we have to report it. We need more reports on what is happening. You understand? And together we can end this particular ugly situation.
All right, that is the situation right here in the city of Abuja. We don't know wherever you are. I don't know what the situation is like when it has to do with the fuel. Well, we're getting to that season, getting to the December, Christmas, where a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians will always take advantage of the season and do what is not really ideal for the citizens. Away from there, we also have another story coming out, I don't know how I should address this. Another lie coming out again from one of the governors, talking about the governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, who said that inflation will return to single digit under Tinubu. Oh. That is laughable.
Wow.
Yeah. It sounds as if he's talking to young kids on the street. So I don't know if I know I don't want Nat to just talk about it. I just want to
hear what he has to say.
No,
that's really laughable.
Yeah, it's laughable because I don't know who he's addressing. He's addressing Nigerians that inflation will return to single digit. All right. Nat?
Okay, let me say I may not join in your pessimism.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we still need to be hopeful. It is possible. In fact, for us to survive, the inflation, it has to come down. Right. It has to come down to a single digit. Yeah. Who can do it? A man can do it.
Right.
A leader can do it who is committed to it. Under the Jonathan administration, we had a single digit inflation. It came down to that point, you understand. When it went up, it went to a low level double digit. Now we are having a very high inflation in this country. So everything must be done to bring it down. And so if a politician who is looking for your votes, say, listen, when we get your votes again, you understand, we will bring it down to a single digit. I think that is how politics go, and that is how he should say to you. But if you don't believe it, I think we should just find hope somewhere. It's hope that keeps us alive. Right. So we should find a place for hope in our going forward. But whether Tinubu is the person who can do it or not, and it left for Nigerians to decide.
You know, Mr. Nat, why I was saying that is a very big lie that I don't really believe is because the governor is an engineer.
Yes,
he came in as an engineer, and when voted into power, most people believe that a lot of roads will be constructed according to his campaign promises. A lot of roads will be constructed and things will be done differently. But today, the reports are not just the same. It's not whatever was the promise like is dashed. You know, so for him to really speak up on behalf of Tinubu, well, you can speak up on behalf of any other person. Nigeria may believe you. Because at this point in time, for me, I call Mr. Tinubu the mystery man, because everybody that tried to speak up for him, you have a lot of questions to answer, right from his origin to his personality. A lot.
His followers are not complaining.
The truth is, we will always restrain ourselves or limit ourselves to that which is obvious.
Right.
And that which has been proven, and that which has been given judicial endorsement. You understand? So as far as we are concerned, officially, the man who is the ticket bearer of the APC is not a mystery man.
Yes,
okay.
It's Bola Ahmed.
Right.
He's from Lagos State. And he's a politician in Nigeria, a former governor of Lagos State for 8 years, you understand. And so you may have your questions, but what we should demand is that we have a right for to ask our leaders to explain to us whatever we query we have about their personality, you understand. Right. And for Nasarawa State, I am not his spokesman. He hasn't paid me for that. I don't do public relations for free.
Right.
You understand. So, but that he is an engineer, doesn't mean that all the roads would have been made perfect.
It was actually the promises he gave.
Yes.
And he went to all the communities, the villages, let them understand, okay, this is my field. I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that this is done and this is done. But once you cross Maraba, cross to the other side, it becomes something else. For the past few years that it's been in the system.
Beautiful sometimes it's also a big deal. Is a pressure being in the in the government in power.
Right.
Because you were limited. I mean, a man like Governor Wike of the PDP can say anything. Do you understand? But he is of the APC.
Right.
But see, let me make it clear to us.
Right.
Nigeria has happened to all of us.
Right, in one way or the other.
Either in government and out of government.
That's right.
I know there are some people who wish they could do more. Do you understand?
Right.
But listen, we are all feeling it. You see, there was a slump in our income. The governors also feel it. You have a civil service to take care of, and sometimes you're struggling to pay salaries. And after you have paid salaries, there might not be enough to take care of corruption and the rest. I mentioned corruption first because to our governors sometimes it's priority to take care of corruption, then before you take care of development. And that is where we have to make a rethink in going forward. Now, starting the program at that time, you were asking for scorecards.
Right.
I think that, there is no better scorecard than during election. The Buhari administration came to power in 2015.
That's right.
Now, that Nigerians voted for him and re-elected him was an endorsement.
Okay.
You understand? It was an endorsement of that first tenure. Whether rightly or wrongly, of course, we've had teachers who wrongly marked you in class. Do you understand? And you had questions in your mind. So either we marked rightly or wrongly, but there was an endorsement by the ballot. Now 2023 looks at us again in the face.
Right.
The scorecard will be at the ballot. Whatever Nigerians say at the ballot will say, listen, you have done well in the past 4 years or 8 years.
That's right.
Come, go ahead, bring somebody who said, listen, I am going to continue from where Buhari stopped.
Right.
So if we elect that person, it shows that we have endorsed the leadership,
right.
the administration that we are complaining about. But if there's a rejection all over the world, people reject parties.
That's right.
So you see in America, you see Americans, you see Democrats in power, then later they get angry, they bring the Republicans, and when they are tired with them, they move out again.
Right.
So listen, we must take the power. We must not complain. Our biggest weapon of marking the people in power is at the voting vote.
Right.
See, that's the best we can do about that.
That's really amazing anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Keisha, trending news, new Naira notes. It's been unveiled.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been trending all over. There's been a lot of opinions from Nigerians. A lot of people are like, okay, the color. It was just the change was just the color. You just and there's been a lot of funny different people with different colorations.
There's something I remember.
Internet,
There's something I remembered yesterday. It took me back when I was in secondary school, right? When I was in school back then. When you want a shade, a kind of shade, it was my school was a white and white. So there's a kind of shade you were looking out for, probably something that looks like a sky blue, a little bit of. So you get a blue, right? So yesterday, that is what was like. It's been trending on social media, just like that.
Yes.
And all Nigerians are saying is, well, they would have informed us. In fact, there's a particular young guy who came out and said he has like all these notes in his house. To save Nigerians from the stress, he would rather blew his notes right in his house, and
rather than the going through the stress of spending. And okay, there's been also a lot of questions as far how much did they use. They haven't announced to Nigerians. They haven't told Nigerians exactly how much they used in changing the color, the design of the Naira.
They brought up some figures like that, which was like. I don't know if Beauty will have an idea anyway, but they brought up some figures anyway. They said, according to the CBN, that they spent over 268 billion. Okay. And on that note, when the figures came out, the first person that actually attacked the federal government was Showore, who said that money would have been used to settle ASU strike and the rest, Okay, on that note, let's quickly go on a short break. When we return from there, we take up on this very story. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
You see it? Nigerian bring you greetings in the Yuletide season. Still on the street to know the chances and acceptability of candidates in the forthcoming general election. What chances do you think politicians stand in gaining our votes as a people? Please come with me as we sample the opinion of the people.
Yes, they stand a chance because election has to take place. That is which is very important for the nation. So no matter how it goes, they stand a chance. It might not be all of them, but they stand a chance.
So we need somebody who will deliver us who can listen to we the Nigerians as citizens, who will not only look at his own side or who is somehow practicing nepotism or corruption. So we need somebody who can deliver. We don't want to repeat all this the same government, the same policy, the same thing all the time. We need a new Nigerian. People who can listen, people who can change Nigeria. We need a fresh blood by the grace of God.
Tulubu mutumin kirki ne, mutumin kware ne, mai adalci ne, mai kafa mutane ne. In Allah ya yarda, Allah ya ba Tulubu wannan. Shi muke so. Ba ma san Peter Obi, ba ma san Kwankwaso, ba ma san Atiku. Tulubu muke so. Maganan kenan, wallahi sai Tulubu. Tulubu.
Keep away tribalism. I am this one from this one from this. I am not from this, I'm not from that. If they can keep that alone and bring themselves together to pick one person that you know that can make things better in this country, I think that would be good. This P2B, I think he will do well because he was once ruled as a governor of Anambra State and he does well. And the way I'm seeing it, P2B is not somebody that will come to divide Nigeria or things. I think he will bring the country together. Everybody will be as one, and the things will be better.
And just choose whoever can come in and do the job properly. Because if you look at it, the whole zoning and the whole picking tribes has not done us any good for a long time. Because the people from different tribes and different zones, and they come in and they do what they can do, which has not been good for the past 16 plus 8, 24 years in democracy so far. I think the military were the only ones who didn't pick religion or tribe, just pick the soldier. But now this is what we are. We have to accept that. So, right now, everybody's vying for, what's his name? Peter Obi and his VP. That's where everybody's going. But even if he comes in and takes the mantle, he's still going to rule the country. And there's a lot of people here that don't want the country to be ruled properly, because if you start ruling the country properly, a lot of things will be taken away from them and from their people. Some say the people in the north will not accept it. There will be war, whatever is coming. I don't know, until the time comes. I don't really have a candidate. I never have. Not in the first one or the previous one, the one before. I always wanted to have somebody that will come in and rule the country properly, which we have not seen so far. And if you come in there, you want to do the job, you always find ways to cut you down. I never was, never have been. I mean, if you were fair, yeah, I would very, very be involved, but it's never been fair. It won't be fair for a long time, because it hasn't been fixed yet. The electoral INEC is compromised. The parties are doing their own thing. The whole body that's supposed to run the elections is very, very compromised. Recently, they said they found some PVC cards from people who are not even Nigerians. So they didn't get that in 2 days in. They didn't get that in like 10 minutes later. Those things have been put in there for a long time. So if you're finding that recently, then that means you people knew they were already here, but then somebody's putting the heat on you, so you have to bring some. Now they said they found some. That means there's still more in there. And whenever they decide to use it, that's on them. I mean, like, I feel like people will always vote. Those votes, some of them might count, some of them won't. That's just the truth about the whole thing. Some of them will never ever count. Because the truth is they want to do a lot of reading too. And if part of the country were to put themselves together and choose one candidate, they might have a chance to choose the candidate that they feel that is going to do the job. But if there's this divide going on between the candidates that are in this part of the country, which is meaning like the middle belt and all the way down to the west, then when the people in the north start coming, it's going to be another one of them. Because in the last election, Atiku was almost there, and then Kano, Katsina, and what's the other state again? There were three of them. They brought their votes in. We're saying Buhari will be getting like 15 million from one state, 7 million from one state. So if you don't control that part of the election, then it's going to be the same thing. And that's a waste of my time. I won't be voting for what I know at the end of the day. They're also going to bring in people from one part of the country, and then everything will be messed up. So I can choose Peter Obi because if so many people are vying for somebody, then there's something there. Yeah. So many people, like majority of the country on this part is vying for this guy. So I feel there's something there. But if you don't control the people in the north, that's the truth too. You don't control the people in the north, then you don't have a chance. And that is where the whole election lies. Because I drive boat once in a while. So one time I was driving a guy from the north, and then he spoke Hausa to me, and then I didn't respond. And then he said, "You don't speak Hausa." I said, "No, I don't." Then he said, "You should learn." I said, "For what?" He said, "Because we rule this country." He said it to me straight, like, "We rule this country. If we don't vote for you, we won't win." So that is from somebody that's like from an ordinary guy. So imagine the people that are on top. If this little guy has this mindset, that means the people that are there have this mindset too. So that's the way it goes. So I don't get involved in something that I can't control. If I could control the elections with everybody else, then yes. But no.
Yes, my people, we are back from the streets and have been able to gather the people's opinion about candidates in the forthcoming general election. Please vote wisely, like they have advised. Butte-metta, Television, Nigeria.
You just heard from the streets, Vox Pop that talked about chances and acceptability of the candidates. In a short while, we'll be going into our topic of discussion proper for the day, which is Abhoring highest bidder politics. But we were talking, Keisha, we were talking about the new Naira notes. And you were saying, you can continue from where you stopped.
Well, I was just talking about the aspect of Nigerians, you know, the kind of ideas, the mindset they have regarding this. You know, one of the things Nigerians are really not happy about the process is, you know, the urgency with which this present administration took. They made up their mind just a few months back that, okay, this is going to be their plan to redesign the Naira notes. And today we have the new Naira note launch. But insecurity has been with us. A lot of policies that we supposed to have, up till now, non-implementation. Just a lot of things happening that the government seems to be, you know, not aware of what is happening. But for this Naira note to just take effect immediately, which means that there's something that we're yet to be informed.
Mr. Nat, I can see you smiling. I know you want to say something about the new Naira notes.
Yes, listening to the television yesterday when, or watching the television when the president was unveiling it, I think the president has the best words for it. He called it the new look Naira notes.
Okay.
New look, I agree.
Right.
Redesigned. No. I have questions. You understand? No. Because redesigned, I will need something. No, but when it's just a color change, and somebody was sarcastically talking about the blue. You understand? And so the note that was blue before became green. The one that was this became another color. And I think think it's going to be a little bit difficult for Nigerians to really recognize the differences. And maybe let's wait for it to come out, because someone was already saying if I dip my 1,000 naira note in blue,
yeah,
it will come out blue. You understand? Yeah. And then, you know, it may look like the new look. So, but let's wait for it to come out. And I think that a lot of thinking would have gone into it before it came out like that.
That's right.
We are not privy to all the information, and I think in Nigeria we read, you know, the information, the details are not really always out there, or our government do not even trust us enough to give us all the details that went into it, including even how much was spent to it, you understand. And then, but he told us it was the new look was made in Nigeria. So,
but also Godwin Emefiele came out to say that it cannot be counterfeited anymore. If that's about the only reason why it was the new look, they have to change the look. Isn't that good enough?
If it cannot be counterfeited,
yes, I
want to believe that it's maybe the banks or the professionals that will now know the difference between the old and the new. You understand? But we're talking about all Nigerians are seeing is color change.
That's right.
And the color from what we saw in print and in television is so faint. You understand that? I mean, you can attempt it. So if you take the old 1,000 naira note that looks a little, is it gray, whatever is the color, then do you understand? With the light blue kind of, now. Yeah. And if you try that mischief of adding a blue color to it, the woman in the village or the man in the street or the one selling who is in a hurry to collect money and go may not have time to look at, is it the old, after all they are going to be in operation together. Do you understand? And when the old one is phased out, how do I know? Because all the physical details that we can see on the old note are still available on the new one. There is no change in that. All is color. So I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. I like to cut them some slack to say, listen, they know what they are doing, what they are saying, what they are doing. So we wait, but these are our concerns. So, and if I wish maybe the CBN governor will address these concerns and assure us that, listen, when you handle this, one will be softer than the other because the look is almost the same now. One will be this or the other. So we'll be able to quickly detect the old from the new, from the color.
Well, I don't know if the studio, the control will give us some of the samples we have anyway. If that will be possible, we don't know. But there are some of the Nigerians that need to take advantage of to see the dates printed on the money. That, yeah, that would be a great step.
That's a good
but
one.
it's just like what you talked about, the old man. Nobody out there will have that patience to look at the money, to look at the date. You know, the color, the date, the money was.
When last did you check the date on the currency you are using?
I can't remember.
Something happened last week when this information of redesigning Nigerian notes actually came out, and suddenly there were new notes printed as far back as 2017 started coming out, and some people came on social media to say now there's a sign to show that there are notes coming. I don't know if Beauty will have some with her, some notes.
Not quite.
Or she has the new.
Perhaps so.
All right, so we go over to some of the stories we have a discussion for the day. And Lizzie, looking at all this, where is your mind taking you to when it has to do with the subject matter, you know, abhorring the highest bidder politics?
Well, yeah, highest bidder politics is actually what, as far as I'm concerned, we've practiced in Nigeria over the years.
That has been the system.
Yeah. Example, even looking at 2023 ahead, the primaries that was done, we all heard about how it went down, how the show went down. It was about the highest bidder. So you agree with me that even up till now is one of the reasons, or rather the causes of the challenge that the PDP are having between Governor Wike and the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar.
Yeah. All right, BT, what do you make of that?
Yes, abhorring the highest bidder politics. First of all, we have to let our viewers know what exactly it means to abhor. Simply to detest, at least to refuse, you don't want, I hate to hate, I mean. And then who is a bidder? A bidder is someone who probably goes for the highest price of something and all that. So what the topic is talking about here is, please, let's try to, as I'm talking to the electorate now, let's try as much as we can to detest whatever it is that they are bringing to us, the politicians are bringing to us for a kind of exchange for your votes, please. Thank you.
Beauty, in your opinion, how easy do you think that is now with the level of poverty that we have in Nigeria? How easy do you think it will be for the electorate to reject selling their votes?
How easy? I think if the electoral umpire can help us, it will go a long way. Number one, educating us properly as a people, it will help us. I think it will.
Sure, Keisha.
I don't think education would be of any use when...
You think it's too late for that?
When poverty is weaponized, when you see even those with jobs. I think we mentioned something like this yesterday, when people that are working hardly earn salaries. You see a lot of things, hunger, inflation, and now someone walk into your home and said, okay, vote for me, I'm going to give you 20,000 naira. 20,000, even 100,000 naira, don't worth it. But how many persons will look at that and say, okay, I'm not after money, I'm after the credibility of your candidate.
Right.
Because I think it's time for us to overlook or look beyond the parties, look after the candidate who is really coming up. We look at the administration that we are already, we've been in for the past 7 years to 8 years now, and they are going out.
And the repeated occurrences of these seats.
Right. So if you look at that very well, do they really merit my vote? Can I give out my vote? No amount of money should make me, give out my vote for any reason at all. So if I'm going to be hungry, it's better to be hungry for few weeks and get better in the next administration.
That's for you, Keisha.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking. When we talk about educating the people, that is what I'm just thinking. So it's better to be hungry between now and election and get better in the next administration than to just sell your vote between now and election, and after the election you get into the system that you don't understand.
Exactly my point on education.
And apart from you, an enlightened person could speak the way you are speaking.
Right.
You don't expect an uneducated man or woman, okay, with children that go out there to sell petty. They have petty trading, petty business that they don't make more than probably 500 naira or 1,000 naira daily. And there are times that with the level of inflation and poverty, there are times they don't even make up to that and come home and their children are crying around them, starving, hungry. And somebody comes and says, okay, let me give you even as low as 5,000, 10,000. First of all, the first thing that will be in the mind of that parent is, oh, my children are crying, they are hungry. Let me at that moment, get something to give them something to eat.
For how much?
That's their reasoning. That's the best. That's how far their reasoning can take them.
Okay, let's get back to Mr. Nat and find out, Mr. Nat, what comes to your mind?
They are thinking about now, not tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, at least, I think I align and I like what Beauty too has been trying to explain, in this case. See, the relationship between poverty and bad governance is like trying to explain the relationship between the egg and the hen. Which came first?
Right.
The hen.
The hen came before the egg. Okay, the hen actually came from the egg.
Yes.
Do you understand? So if you say the hen, they came before the egg, where did the hen come from?
Right, from an egg.
You understand? And if you say the egg came from the hen, where did the egg come from?
There's a circle.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we need to disaggregate that. You understand? As to say, listen, poverty has already been weaponized
Right.
against us. That is correct. You understand? And that is where education comes in, because it's a strategic move. It's a conscious weapon deployed against Nigerians. And but let me tell you something. In the beginning, it wasn't so.
It wasn't so.
Now, poverty has always been with us. You understand? But in the beginning, we had not always sold our votes. And I'm going to tell us a short story about the community I come from.
Right.
Now, once upon a time, at least I know within the 83 elections that we could recollect, now those are the days of NPN, NPP, and the rest. Now we had a community, a rural community, because you mentioned education, and that how can a rural person or somebody who is, no, you really can. And that's where we need to do a lot of enlightenment. And to say, listen, when it was done differently, the results were different. We had a situation where the community association would come and say, listen, we needed a leader.
Right.
They looked among their children.
Themselves, right.
And they found one who had not indicated any interest to contest an election, who do not have the money to contest an election. And they said, listen, there is an opening, there's going to be a state assembly, we need you there. He said, no, I don't want.
They know your personality.
You know your personality, you can represent us better. I don't have the money. Okay, we are contributing money for you. I don't have a house, we have rented an apartment for you. You take this money. Now, this person didn't need money because the campaign happened. The people are the one looking for. And I also recollect the story about a particular local government chairman. Now, this one who wants to become a local government chairman came campaigning. And he came with promises. He came with this. He even came with gifts. Now, that's how it looked like then. And they say, no, take your gift away. But sit down. We seem to like you. Write down what you will do for our community when you become the local government chairman. And there was an agreement. And he was given the support. And when he became, he was even in a hurry to fulfill that agreement. Because nothing was taken from him.
Right.
Fast forward till when we started with 200 naira notes before election, as in before you vote, till 500, and now we are counting thousands now. And we collect this money because of hunger.
Yes.
That is there now, today, and everything. But somebody need to draw their attention to it, because Beauty was saying, how do we abhor? So the focus of this discussion is, how do we stop it?
Right.
How do we discredit that system? Is by telling them at what cost. You have collected 5,000 naira. At what cost?
Right.
And Lizzie will agree with me that 5,000 naira now cannot give you a pot of soup.
Right.
Maybe it used to. At the point they gave you the 5,000 naira used to. Now, because you collected that 5,000, for the next 4 years, you will never be able to cook soup with that amount again.
That's right.
For 4 years.
True.
You will never be able to buy medicine for your children for the next 4 years. You will never be able to sustain a family. Your husband's salary will no longer be paid. Or your salary will never be paid again because you collected that money.
And you have children that are
and we have
not
children
employed.
that will not be employed. That are not employed, that will not be employed, and the ones that were working who will leave their jobs because you see the number of people that have lost jobs in our recent years because somebody collected the money. So they are the one see, it is not. I'm not taking the blame away from those in power.
Right.
But we were responsible. You understand? So if there's a time that when you are pushed to the wall, that which begin to appeal to us, that was appealing to you before, no longer appeals to you. It's like a woman who fell in love and got married.
Yeah.
And a lot of things were appealing to her or to him too, because it's two ways. And after some time, suddenly, nothing appeals to you in that union again. Something that seemed beautiful before.
Right.
So we have been engaged and married to this system that has inculcated poverty, suffering. It is time to divorce it.
That's right.
It's time to turn our back on it. It's time to say, listen, it may look good for today, but the cost is higher.
It is.
The cost is much. It's
Well,
daunting.
that is really amazing. I love what he just said now. You know, while talking, I just look at this scenario where you are giving out this money is like, okay, take what looks good now and not be sure of the future.
If I lose your future.
And lose your future.
Yeah.
Or you tell yourself that, okay, let me take what looks bad now and be sure of the
You
future.
know, somebody once said it classified it as giving away your brains.
You do that, what we do.
Yeah, that is what it is. Somebody is going to think for you.
Right.
Somebody is going to help you to
Exactly.
think. Is going to help you
Yes,
to plan
yes.
your life. And of course, it's not going to be to your advantage when somebody helps you to think. I remember one of these men who says most of the religious people who say that, yeah, Jesus died for them. You know, that Jesus didn't die to take away your senses. He took away your sins.
Right.
So he allowed you to be with
Absolutely.
the sin so you can think. I actually love what he said this
Yeah.
evening. I'm in love with the whole narrative he's given out today. So
Keisha, sorry to cut in. You know,
Right.
I was part of the elections in 2019.
All right.
I contested the election
Yes.
in my place. And then, you know, because you wanted to build a team,
all right.
you're building a team of people who also need help. So you know, you try to help here, help there. You know, not because, but just because and then you build that team. Then you think that you have built a team for campaign. You have built a team that will be part of your. And the day of election, the member of your team for the past 3 years or 2 years that you've been on the field now comes and says, listen, where is the money for the election? The election day, as in. And you say, listen, why should I give you money again to support the person you have become part of his team?
The mandate. Yeah.
So you see, there is a lot of wrong thinking among the electorates that believe that the only way you can win, and that's why you see, I keep saying that there is, if you look around on social media now, there is this strategic campaign going on about the winnability and non-winnability of a particular candidate.
Right.
The candidate cannot win, and they make you believe that this candidate cannot win because he's not giving out money.
That's right.
Or he doesn't have the financial capacity that another has. The other that has the financial capacity, in spite of the questions that you have in your mind about them, has the winnability tag to him or her. And so this one can win because he has enough money, either by corruption or whatever. But this one that has cannot win because he said, listen, maybe he doesn't have enough money as compared to this person. And it is the electors that are judging the winnability of one candidate against another based on how much we have in our pockets.
You know, Lizzie, something happened yesterday. We were talking about the report we got. We heard Soludo talking about, again, about Peter Obi. And the governor of Nasarawa State also came up to say Soludo is the best witness to really attest to the Peter Obi administration.
Is he?
Yeah, that is what he said. And one of the reports that came out yesterday, one of the guys who appeared on an interview, he said something remarkable. He said, I think I said this yesterday, that Peter Obi administration, during his administration, none of the members in his family that was given a contract, that was awarded a contract. Now that the brother asked him, that was Peter Obi now, asked him, okay, he should be given a contract. That Peter Obi told the brother, say, I've been with you for ages. I never knew you as a contractor. Right. Why should I give you a contract now? To do what? No member of the family has been a contractor. Why should contracts be awarded to you? Now it gets back, it's not all about the money, it's all about the future that you want to build with the people. I'm not trying to campaign for Peter Obi, but
you're already saying so.
No, I'm just trying to looking at the aspect of personality, personality from just the money. So if I'm going to Mr. Nad, if you look at me coming to you for campaign, my body language will tell you that I want to give you money to shut you up for the rest of the
your
year.
life.
Or I want to really build Nigeria. I want us to build together. Or someone who wants to really build Nigeria will say, okay, it's all about the future. You will know. And the one who is bringing
definitely you'll be able to tell the difference.
to communicate, to know that, okay, this is what it is like. I don't know.
How many people have that discerning spirit to actually ascertain your body language?
That's what we need to
Most
encourage.
times, exactly, that's what we need to correct, and that's the reason for the topic of the day.
It's just like Atiku, who told the is it Atiku? Yeah, when during the meeting with Khan, who said that he was going to grant all their requests. So we said it yesterday that it sounds unrealistic. It sounds laughable to tell Khan that, okay, you're going to grant all.
Another person said he will recharge the lecture. Did you hear that on television?
That he will do what?
He will recharge the lecture. And
oh, right.
I've covered water, you understand? You know, and it's just the same script that they played in 2015 when they promised what is not doable.
Not real.
Somebody told us they're going to make $1 equals to 1 naira. And because the candidate himself did not say it himself, he denied it later. And Nigerians fell for it because it was hardly possible within the administration to do that. The lecture is not what Ebola Tinubu can recharge.
Yeah.
If it was possible, this government would have done it. There have been appeals at the United Nations by the water bodies asking countries to donate for that project to be done. It's not something that one president can do it. The world is not even as much as interested in putting that level of resources into it. But you say, no, I know the poverty around that place, and I hear you complain about the lecture. I will recharge the lecture. Excuse me. Now, those are the kind of things that we must question. Do you understand? We must question those promises. If somebody said, I will do this, ask him how.
How?
Exactly.
I will do it. How? We want to bring inflation down to single digit, like the National State governor promised us. How? How do you want to do it?
And sometimes they don't even know how to explain the process to how.
Because they don't know it.
And you know, that's why we say they should go attend debates to tell the how.
You see, the people who are not ready to tell you the how are avoiding the debates.
Right.
You understand? The Nigerians are actually even wise now to know what to do. Because it's enough of the suffering, it's enough of the deceit, it's enough of the promises.
Well, we saw Tinubu, who was asked for the manifesto, who came out with 40 pages of booklet.
No, it's something pages.
Okay.
86 or thereabouts.
Okay. I just tried to pay it.
Because he knows we will not read.
Yeah. So
we will not read it.
Even when you start.
So you ask for a document, he has given you one. But you know you won't read it.
But the reality of it is that even if you are going to read the manifesto, by the time you start reading, the election is done. He's already the president. And you are still reading the manifesto.
Still reading. He actually said it's an assignment to Nigeria.
So, and I heard another man who said, listen, I am the manifesto.
Oh, wow.
You understand? I am the manifesto. I tell you to you. This is what I want to do. I mean, that sounds more believable.
Yeah.
You understand? I was telling somebody that is the same script. And we know the script writer for 2015.
Right.
That brought in Buhari. The same script writer is now adapter. And so that script is being refurbished and posted on our faces. And so don't be surprised when they say, listen, I'll make 1 naira equal to $1. Remember that line?
Right. We remember so well.
That will make Use petrol for less than 20 naira per liter. Did you remember that? It will come again. Because it's the same script.
All right, like a few months back, 2022, let's take us a bit back, Lizzie. Just permit me to look at this story. Fuel, as of 2015, fuel was 87 naira against 180 in some filling station if you come by it anyway. Then you have rice, a bag of rice, which was 8,500 naira. As of today, we're talking about is close to 50,000 naira. A bag of rice. Then we have $219 naira And today, you know what it's talking about, even though most people are saying, okay, there's a crash, it's crashing at the end of the day.
Crashing to how much? To 700?
To 700 and something
700 is high, as far as I'm concerned.
Then we talk about external debt.
700 is not low.
Let me tell you something.
Even if it's 500,
you cannot sustain an exchange when you are not producing.
When you're not producing,
so
right.
You see, these things are, for me, they are stage managed.
Right.
It is the reactions of Nigeria to the redesigning of the naira. And remember, recently there was also a rumor which I think didn't hold water after some time, that the dollar too was going to be some restriction. You understand? Based on the date it was published, but I heard the American government denied that. You understand? But also there was some apprehension. So dollars were coming out. People were bringing out naira. So the exchange happened, and so of course people were no longer in a hurry to store currencies because of that redesigning policy. Now listen, whatever effect that will have, we cannot be sustainable.
Right.
It will just be a flash.
Yeah.
And so within our faces, the naira left 180 something naira to a dollar, to almost 1,000. We got to 990 something.
Yeah.
Then it began to come down again, maybe because it has reached its breaking point.
Right.
You understand? And people are asking me to celebrate at 700 naira, even at 400 naira. It's still an insult to us if any man asks us to celebrate that exchange rate.
But what actually is the problem?
The problem is that we are not producing. We have borrowed too much for services, to service administration, to service corruption.
That's where the problem lies.
You know, one of the amazing part of it that is still a surprising thing is the aspect of, I remember 2015, I took a flight from Abuja to Port Harcourt, 14,000.
Yes.
800 naira.
Go that route again.
I can't forget. And today,
yeah, you can't even mention.
It's over 100,000 naira.
Even up to 2020. Yeah, I think you could still get book flights, tickets for 28,000.
Thereabout.
Yeah.
Then we look at the diesel. Diesel back then was 155 naira, and today is over 780 naira.
What about gas?
Gas then was 2,500. Same gas is like 9,500.
I bought petrol
right
for 235 naira per liter at a major filling station in Kaba yesterday.
In Abuja, I bought for 250. 240,
Do you understand?
250.
I mean, maybe that you could just see maybe some of the filling stations around you that doesn't have queue. You understand? So you just drove in and pay at that price. But see, it's like we have a government who has given up on that sector.
Well, it's been managed by an individual. The policies making regarding the fuel and everything is done by an individual, which nobody can actually speak up in that.
It's the government. Do you understand? It's the government. And we need to talk about it. Life has become difficult for Nigerians.
Very difficult.
You understand? Very difficult. If that becomes the reason we may have to assess this government, so be it. Talking about scoring again, I keep referring to that. Do you understand? Those are the indices for measurement. See, I mean, at the point I had cause to also discuss this at another forum. And I said, listen, I may not be an economist like some of your economists in power, but listen, the economy I believe in and I can analyze properly was how much did I buy a loaf of bread? Okay. Before you came in, before this policy, how much do I buy a loaf of bread now?
800.
How much was a bag of rice?
You're talking of 800. I bought a loaf of bread for 1,000
naira.
I actually have a point to make in that.
Yes, please.
The reason I asked what actually is the problem is that over the years, Nigerians have always complained about each administration.
Yeah.
So what actually is the problem, and what can we do to stop? Because things seems to be getting worse. Even at those points you're saying this was cheap, that was cheap, we were still complaining.
So yes, see we run a human system here, and if all of our lives, in every sphere of our life, we keep aspiring for the better.
Right.
You understand? So it was like, okay, in your home, you had food. I mean, maybe you had akamu with sugar and this, and then you were all happy.
And even Gary.
Yes, then. and then somebody come to tell you, listen, I'm going to give you custard. Do you understand?
Right.
I'm going to give you something better. So the human person always wants it better.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're married today and God save you, if you can meet a better man and who will promise you something more than the man that you are married to is promising you, you will not be tempted for the better situation. You're working somewhere, maybe in TV Nigeria, you understand? And then someone promises you that I'm going to give you a better job than what TVN is giving you.
Right.
Your mind will go up to it. So that was a situation. I mean, we remembered where the figures were changing in a positive direction, and Nigeria became the fastest growing economy in the world at a particular point. We had the best economy in Africa at a particular point. South Africa was next to us, and somebody told us, listen, we can make you better than this. And we fell for it, but they didn't tell us how. So it became worse. We didn't ask. It became worse. Now where we are today, we want to get better. We had always want to get better. We made the mistake because we wanted to get better.
You say that because we didn't ask.
Yes.
I guess they didn't ask because, not me, I asked questions anyway. So the people didn't ask because they had felt that the person of President Muhammadu Buhari was
a saint according to
was going to be the Messiah that we clamored for and was going to make things really change.
Yes. It was Bishop Coker
unfortunately,
who said
we're
something.
not seeing that change right now.
Say, listen, Lizzie, I know you have a car, and then you drive a car to the mechanic. Now, do you ask the mechanic, did you beat your wife yesterday before you fix my car? Did you ask such question?
No.
Have you ever asked your mechanic, where are you from? Which part of the country? It's only Igbo mechanic that can fix my car.
Right.
Have you ever thought of that?
No.
As long as this man can fix your car, even if he's on drugs, even if he beats his wife, even if he doesn't go to church, even if he worship Olumba or worship it's none of your business.
Right.
As long as he can fix this car. So we must look for who can fix Nigeria, whether they are Christians or they are Muslims, whether they are from the north or from the east. Can you fix this country? And if we knew that they can do it before. Again, we had to ask questions about capacity. I was asking somebody who told me, oh, this man did it some years ago in so states, and he did this. In fact, he's the creator of that state. Oh, wow. Now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria is not doing very well. I mean, let us bring Kanu back to play for us. Let's bring Okocha after they played very well. Now, if we bring them to Super Eagles, will that be a disaster?
That's right. That's right. Well, we
can be off now.
Right.
Mr. Nat, we can actually just call off this program at this point
because
this is it. Yeah, this is it.
So we must ask questions. We must put them. We must query their claims all the time.
We'll be going on a short break, and when we return from that short break, we take it on a different dimension. I hope you're enjoying this program. For me, I think this is all Nigerians need to really understand. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality productions to clients from all sectors of life. We are experts in program streaming, event coverage, news reporting, adverts, documentaries, personality profiling, skits, and jingles. You can advertise now on Television Nigerian network platforms or sponsor programs like The Patriot, Spectacle, Business Daily, Security Dossier, and other programs. To publicize your business from ground state to the zenith, we have the capacity to introduce, promote, and publicize your businesses to increase patronage. We associate with quality to attract clients like you. Television Nigerian is your media solution. Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality productions to clients from all sectors of life. We are experts in program streaming, event coverage, news reporting, adverts, documentaries, personality profiling, skits, and jingles. You can advertise now on Television Nigerian network platforms or sponsor programs like The Patriot, Spectacle, Business Daily, Security Dossier, and other programs. To publicize your business from ground state to the zenith, we have the capacity to introduce, promote, and publicize your businesses to increase patronage. We associate with quality to attract clients like you. Television Nigerian is your media solution. Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality.
All right, it's good to have you back on this program, Daybreak Africa on Television Nigeria. It's been an amazing time with Mr. Nat right here. One of the things I should be thinking, should we call back Kanonwako, call back JJ Okocha, call back Fini the Judge, call back Taribo Waste and the rest?
Sleep.
Yeah, just get to the... In other words, there were times these guys
once upon a time
pulled out the glory of Nigeria to make it work, and returning back to politics. He was good yesterday. Let's try him again. How old is he today? How smart can he go today?
And with the fact that the past glory, he was quite younger.
Right.
Much more. It's been over how many years that what we're talking about today.
And the generation to change it comes with different challenges and different things, because what it was yesterday,
it's different.
It's quite different because
the way to politics now is the approach to politics all over the world is different from what it was.
It's changing. You know what happened? I lost my dad like some years back. There was something he told me. I was still young anyway. He said something. He said, I can't do this. Why not? He was just like a 50-something when he was talking to me. And I said, Dad, but it's something you can do. Something you can do. He said, no, you need to start doing it, because I know at this point in time I should not be doing it. Even though I can do it now, you can do it within a short period of time. But I will sit on it, work on it a bit, I relax a bit, work and relax. But you can actually do it and feel happy, the fun of it.
Achieve more and do it faster.
Good. So returning back to the political thing here, you are looking at people who said during the First World War, during the 1963, this is what was. And we are talking about 2022. What happened to the systems, things that are machines? In 2000, when we're talking about the new millennium, where someone talked about pulling off all the systems that were, in circulation, because they can't go, they can't go beyond year 2000, because there's a new millennium, a new system that are playing out. So why should we continue with the old system into the new millennium? And even in the new millennium, we discover that this system is not working.
Putting a new wine in an old.
All right, I don't know what it will feel like. Let's have a little twist on some of the discussion we are having here. What happened if we ask or look back, Nat, to find out these people who comes out to give 10,000 naira to me to vote for their party? Where did you get this money from? How did you become rich to give everyone in Nigeria 10,000 naira without feeling it? What has been, you stored this money over the period of time? What companies do you have? How do you generate this income that makes you a superman, that you can actually take care of the whole thing? Can we get to that? Do we have policies in place that can checkmate such things?
I think Nigeria is not short on laws. We have most of the laws that other countries that are working don't even have. But it's our willingness to even implement or stay with that which we have given ourselves. Are we committed to it? Even the agency that is saddled with the implementation of those laws, how committed are they to it? I mean, record recently there was a COVID restriction, but people were still traveling. Our roads were flooded with policemen, but the policemen began to use that opportunity to extort money. Yes, so there was a system, a security man on the road to stop you from driving, but you people still pass as long as you can pay your way through it. So we see people who throw away their faces from what should work for all of us and allow it to fester. I mean, I could understand with INEC, who has the responsibility of monitoring our campaign spending, but you give them the responsibility, you did not give them the capacity to do that which the law expects of them to do. And those who have the capacity are turning their back on it. See, exchange of money for election is actually a crime. We don't need a new law to criminalize. It's actually a crime.
That's right.
And the policeman is at the polling unit, seeing it, and he has collected his own too. So who's going to arrest who? No, those are the situations. So, coming back to what Keisha said about asking questions. From the place and from our traditional societies, if you come back home in those days with a car, your father will say, wow, good boy, but how?
How did you get the car? Right. What do you do?
Then, before your community gives you a chieftaincy title, they'll have to prove that there is no crime in your rise. But listen, now today it's given in exchange for crime. I have spent, I go to the south and I've had reason to complain and shout loud what is happening, especially, I don't say only the southwest, but especially in southwest Nigeria. If the government does not do anything now, the law for money, young boys today, the only standard is how much money and the cars, and so not talk about Yahoo has become a normal thing. Now our politicians too are Yahoo men. Those ones are Yahoo boys. These ones too are Yahoo men. So they bring money that they cannot explain to you. So why would you even want to burden us? No, about asking and investigating their source of wealth, because see that would be a tedious task for any Nigerian to undertake now. I will ask. I also give you another tall advice, another tall, or and maybe reject the money. But if you cannot reject it, I mean, if it is really difficult for you to reject it, nobody will put a gun on your head. When you are casting. And technology and the system has created an environment where you can vote without being monitored. And if you come to a polling unit where that system, as created by our law and signed by the president, is not there, it's not recreated, you object to whatever is given to you and insist that there must be secrecy of the ballot because you want to vote in secret according to the law.
That's what INEC has promised.
We must insist. We must insist that the beavers must be used.
Now, you're talking about INEC here. We know INEC is taking the sole responsibility of what is going to look like. Also, Nigerians have a way to go. No, I don't want us to take INEC to be that perfect body or a body that is going to give us. Yeah, they are not perfect. Now, why I'm saying that is because parts of the INEC, from the chairman of the INEC to the staffs and every other person, are they working as team? If they're like a team, why should some of the INEC staff register underage, minors? That means we are planning to have a credible, free, and fair election come 2023. And there are other INEC staff who are just looking at us. They don't even understand what we are talking about because they are not feeling it. They have their money. They have the life they live. So they go ahead, someone sits out there and register a 12-year-old child, a 9-year-old child to be a voter. So these are some of the things we need to look at and find out how can we get out of them, because, okay, for the money it's not good enough. INEC, what do you have in place? Beavers, good and correct. There are some places that, as we are talking here, the INEC will make sure that the system don't work there. Not because they have control, it's because they are controlled by the force. Let me tell you what happened. We saw the story, Peter Obi's plane that was meant to take off from Lagos for Ibadan as a result of the campaign was grounded. People said, okay, no, you can move. There's an order from above. That is what we're talking about. Who are the people? You get out of Abuja, you get to see police say, order from Abuja. And when you get to Abuja, you see a lot of things happening. And is there hope? Is Nigeria redeemable at this time? Can we really hold ourselves responsible? That, my brother, because now it's better to have a bad leader from my tribe than to have a good one from somewhere else. How can we get out of this place? Because if we live here, we go out of 2022 into 2023 with the same attitude, the same mindset, the same thing, the same policies, the same approach, I don't think Nigeria will survive in the next 4 to 5 years. Again.
The way forward. What's
the way forward?
Yeah.
Yes. You know, like I keep saying, we aspire for the best.
For the best, right.
All the time.
Yes.
In every area of our lives. We seek El Dorado. But listen, even if we do not get to El Dorado, let's be seen to be on the pathway to El Dorado. Let's see that even if we could not fly, we drove. Even if we could not drive, we walked.
Right.
Even if we could not walk, we crawled.
That's
but
right.
there was a movement. So let's make up our minds that from 2050 or 2019, we are going to make a move. If it was going to be a flight to destination, thank God. But if we could not fly, even if we had to crawl, let's make the move.
Right.
Wherever you are, let nobody tell you that only you cannot make a difference. You can. You can. In your family, you can. In your circle of friends, you can. In your word, you can. In your polling unit, you can. Even if it's going to be a lone voice, you will be heard. And even if you do not win, be seen to be doing the right thing. Your voice will be multiplied as time goes on. So let's not be discouraged. I believe in Nigeria. I think because they have people like you and I in Nigeria, God has kept us here. We will make the change. We will make the difference. We will stay in their faces. We will speak the truth to them. We will not just sit down and complain. We will become part of the system. And so you want to ask yourself, even as a journalist, which we all are, what's going to be my contribution?
My responsibility, right.
We are setting the agenda here. We are making contribution already.
Right.
1,000 people already heard us. And I believe somebody may have had a change of mind or may have been quickened in their mind to say, listen, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Or you are going to also take your PVC.
That's right.
And go there to vote. And while you are voting, you become the monitor because the Constitution gives you the right to monitor what is happening there.
Right.
So I think, responding to Beauty, or you asked the question, what is the way forward?
Yeah.
I think that is the way forward. It's going to be a revolution. It's going to be us leading, not waiting for the leaders to lead us where we are going. We take it. It has happened in Africa. It has happened in other parts of the world. Things are changing. I mean, you were talking about somebody who was able to do it before and now. We need a president who must respond to the challenge of cryptocurrency.
All right.
I mean, I just mentioned that. So if we're going to ask a president, what's your position, policy on cryptocurrency? We say, what is that one? Oh, this one that Yahoo boys are doing. Do you understand?
Right.
So what's your position on fiscal policy? We had a president who said I was going to fight corruption. And all he knew how to do was what he did in 1983. No wonder it failed. Because 1983 cannot work in 2000.
You talked about putting the new wine into the
old
horse. Yeah.
You understand?
That's it.
Corruption is prevented. Fighting corruption, you may not succeed, but you prevent it. And using technology, but they don't know about this. And we know a list that came out of appointees, and many of them were dead because someone was living in 1983.
That's right. That's right. And he wasn't
Do you
aware.
understand?
He wasn't aware.
Yeah, I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
Not informed.
I knew Lizzie many years ago, and the time I knew her, she was even a journalist.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And today, Lizzie is a journalist. I want to ask what happened between that time and now. And when I already know that she went to journalism school.
Right.
Do you understand? And she has deployed properly that. So if we are going to tell you that Beauty that we knew 20 years ago is now a new person, if I knew Beauty as a lazy person and if she's now hardworking, I want to ask what happened to Beauty in the last 20 years. Those are the questions we need to ask our leaders. Right. If they told you he did it before, how? What happened? He was such a person. But it has changed.
You know, Mr. Nad, one of the challenges we are having asking these questions is that the same leaders have this kind of followership, the supporters that are not ready to listen to people. They're not ready to listen to people. The supporters are out of
than they are.
Yeah, when you say something like, for example, someone is campaigning for Tinubu right now and is telling you, okay, Tinubu made a lot without facts, without figures. All they know is that it is the turn, is Tinubu that will take us. For example, where Sule was talking about Tinubu is the only person that can make inflation. How? Can you speak for the leader? You are not the one that will be the president. Right. We are talking about Tinubu, address people, Nigerians. What will you do? How do you your plans, how to govern Nigeria? Okay, we also see Atiku Abubakar as a PDP. Then you find few PDP members telling you that Atiku is a credible candidate. He's the only one that can deliver Nigeria. How? They don't know. But one thing they are sure is this is the person that deserves to be.
Yeah, they said he's the only one because he has wives from all parts of the
I mean,
country.
what an insult.
Yeah.
How much more to insult us? To say the only reason, the only way you can identify a unifier, he marries everywhere. Maybe he has not married from Kogi. He should come and pick one from Kogi so that
did
we
you
know
say,
that
did you say it's an insult?
It should be an insult.
We have people in the National Assembly who can actually stand up and say, you know, I have like so and so wives and even
I am not saying
they brought the wives into the National Assembly.
Yes.
I am not against polygamy. I am not saying you cannot marry as many as it, but to say my contribution to unifying Nigeria is to pick wives from every region. If that should be used as a campaign, you should feel insulted. That's the point I am making. He has a right to
that's right. That's right.
He wants to, and from wherever he, well, I think he should pick more, because if that is the interest in unifying Nigeria, from there he should pick more from all over the country. But that's none of my business. Now you see, for every position that you take, you will have supporters. Kisha was talking about people who identify with a particular party because they know, because maybe the candidate is their brother, is from their tribe, or they know somebody who knows somebody. So that is one thing. Most of them they are not even in the system, but they know one person which they are loyal to, who knows the other person who may be within the cycle
Kisha,
of the candidate.
Last week somebody said because a friend is associated with one of the candidates.
Yes,
so
that is why
but see,
every position you take, you have supporters. You recall from those of us who believe the Bible, at the beginning when there was crisis in heaven, there was an opposition. You understand? And one who had led worship, who had led praise, who had maybe one of the the voice that was listened to more. Because I think God speaks not that often, like the devil was singing every day. So his voice was louder than the rest. And then he rose an opposition. What happened? He has supporters.
Right.
Do you understand? He had a lot of supporters, even in heaven. But then there were other supporters who withstood the devil, even in heaven. Now, there are remnants. Even if the crowd is going to go with propaganda, even if there's going to be a loud voice of supporters of what we term as not the way forward for Nigeria, there should be other voices. And your voice, my voice, that the raindrop comes at one, then becomes a heavy downpour. That's how we should go. So we shouldn't give up. We shouldn't be inundated by the voices of opposition or the voices of those.
Let me quickly ask this. What about those category of people that feel, okay, this money is money. They are stolen money. Let's collect it. Yes, they are giving it. Money. Let's collect it. Let's eat it. And after all, it's our money. And by so doing, even on our words, to them, they sell their votes.
There's always a repercussion to everything. I've lived in a society where we have young ladies. Listen, oh, come on, I'm young. Let's in fact, that man, let me eat his money. You don't know what is behind that decision you are making. Now, what I want to tell Nigerians in closing is the fact that whatever decision, we see, time is beckoning on us.
Right.
We are at the edge of decision, and whatever decision we take, there are repercussions. There's going to be consequence. Well, if you stay quiet, there's going to be consequence.
Right.
If you support any particular, there's going to be consequence, either on you, on me, on your children. Right. And the one that pains me more is that some of us have lived some life on earth, but see, for my daughter's sake, all right, for my son's sake, I will not keep quiet. Our fathers did not hand over to us that which we admire as a country. But what matters, what are we going to hand over to our children? Right. So if you think about today and what you are going to chop their money today, and that's enough for you, then we have a generation that is already owing about 100 trillion naira. Already they are in debt. Your children, their children and their grandchildren are already in debt. How longer can this continue? I think that's a question that Nigerians must seek to answer at every point of their life.
All right. Thank you so very much.
It's my pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Even though the time is running out, I was just going to allow each row just the way it was going anyway. But I really got so much information, and I have responsibility to put out a lot for my generation to know about. If you know things are not working the way they're supposed to, speak up. And don't be afraid, because if you don't have what to live for, then you don't deserve to live.
Right.
You have something to live for, so you have to speak.
Right.
Yeah. So if you speak up for something that that's meant to be yours, if you don't speak up, then you don't have any reason to live. So for us, we have a lot to live. Okay. Before we wrap up, let's get back to Beauty. Beauty, what are your last few words in the segment?
Yeah, my words to the viewers is, you've heard it all from the speaker, Mr. Nax, and I want to borrow one of his words, that whatever you do, always remember that there is a consequence to it, whether positive or negative. Please vote wisely.
Yeah, that's well said, Beauty. Like I always say that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step.
A step in the right direction.
In the right direction. So Nigerians, do the right thing.
All right, thank you so very much. It's been an amazing time having you guys on the show, Daybreak Africa Television Nigeria. We've been able to, dissect a lot of subject here, but it's left for Nigerians to decide. We're talking about change of policies. We're talking about change of leadership. There should be a mindset, a different mindset, change of mindset that can give you a Nigeria of our dreams. We owe the younger generation a responsibility for a better Nigeria, and we can get that Nigeria, defending your responsibility, defending what your rights are, what your privileges are, knowing what the Constitution said. This is what I am. This is who I am. This is a citizen. We're not talking about someone helping you. So it's been an amazing time having great segment today and having someone like Mr. Nat. We're looking forward to having you again anytime we call on you, sir.
My pleasure all the time.
All right, thank you so very much, viewers. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.